This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's. Tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, and Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. Great to be with you. We are at Chickies and Pete's in the Parks Casino in Bensalem, and we are not happy.
We are not happy.
We are not particularly thrilled tonight. We're happy to be with you, but we wish we were talking about an Eagles win, which they had. It was, to me, Dave, one of the most excruciating losses, certainly since the Seattle game last year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the build-up to the game after the win in Brazil, the long wait, Nick Foles, the honorary captain, Jason Kelsey in the neighborhood, the fans who had not been to a regular season game in such a long time in South Philadelphia. And then to have it on Monday Night Football, prime time, a full day of celebrating and tailgating, and the stadium was loud, and the pregame show was fantastic. Lights down, the Eagle flying in.
Yeah, wasn't it something?
It was really, really spectacular. And then the game began, and it was just a slog. And even after all of that, the Eagles in the fourth quarter take the lead. C.J. Gardner-Johnson makes a great stop on fourth down. And from there, Merrill, it wasn't good. It was devastating, and we have a lot to talk about tonight.
Dave, that game was within inches of being won. And it was a little toss, the kind you have with your 6-year-old kid in the back lawn, about maybe 5 yards away, to Saquon Barkley, who is just an outstanding player, and he dropped it. And he came in front of his locker after the game, and he took full blame. What a character guy he is.
3rd and 3. They ran a play that they had run earlier in the game, a play that was a completion from Jalen Hurts to Saquon down to the 1.5 yard line. Very, very well-designed play, created space. You put Barkley in motion, left to right in the formation.
Perfectly thrown.
Cross, a little flat route there, perfectly thrown from Jalen into not the fingertips, but the hands of Saquon Barkley, who makes that catch, Merrill, I imagine, 99 out of 100 times.
I think 999 out of 1,000.
Probably. And, it is just cruel irony that on the night that the fans waited to see Saquon and he got such a roaring ovation and he played such an inspired game and really got this offense moving. Without A.J. Brown, and we'll talk about that, a lot of the offense went through Saquon Barkley, and he delivered until that play. So the Eagles miss out on an opportunity to keep the drive alive, run the clock out, which they would have done. Instead, Jake Elliott comes on, a 28-yard field goal, and you're still feeling, well, okay, this defense under veteran coordinator Vic Fangio will no doubt keep Kirk Cousins and the Falcons out of the end zone. And what do the Falcons do? Completion, incompletion, completion, touchdown, and they take the winning the lead. They take the advantage, and then Jalen Hurts throws an interception 2 passes later, and it was crushing silence, disappointment, and frankly, a sense of what is next for this football team.
Dave, let's take it from the beginning of that.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the end. What happened after the field goal? You kick off into the end zone, and it immediately comes out to the 30-yard line. That's cutting out a lot of field right now. They have 70 yards to get to the end zone. And I still believe the reason that rule was put in was to allow a kickoff return to be challenged. And I thought they should have kicked off high and short and kept him inside the 20 or no more than the 22 or 23.
I mean, clearly the Eagles have taken the approach with the new kickoff rules that they're going to take their chances giving their defense an opportunity at the 30-yard line, that they don't want to risk a big return. Now, in your scenario, Merrill, it makes sense. The kickoff came with 1 minute and, 1 minute and 39 seconds remaining in the game. If you kick off there and you return it, you're burning off
30 seconds.
Yeah, something like that, And instead, the Falcons had the ball 1st and 10, no timeouts remaining at their 30. Kirk Cousins begins the drive with a pass to tight end Kyle Pitts, 11 yards over the middle. Clock continues to run. They're 1st and 10 at the Atlanta 41-yard line. Shotgun again, no huddle. Cousins deep left side to Darnell Mooney, 21 yards. And Merrill, he gets out of bounds. 56 seconds left.
How do you not guard that sideline? And Darnell Mooney hit them with a 42-yard touchdown reception earlier.
Yeah, I mean, there was no blitz. The four-man pass rush did not get there. They did not guard the sidelines. They did not really, I didn't think, challenge in coverage either. It was a very soft coverage.
Yeah, it was.
And so, I mean, Vic Fangio will certainly have to explain that when he meets the media this week, but I expected something a little more aggressive from the Eagles' defensive scheme there. They had not generated pressure at all on Cousins the entire night, and they had done a good job. The Eagles had allowed 315 total net yards until that final drive. So the Falcons are all of a sudden sitting there 1st and 10 at the Eagles' 38-yard line.
And at that point, I was worried.
Yeah. I'm sorry, he did not get out of bounds on that second play. He ran out of bounds on the third play. Again to Mooney, a 26-yard gain to the 12-yard line. So the Falcons, with 48 seconds remaining, 1st and 10 at the Eagles' 12, Merrill. What were you like up in the booth?
I was thinking doomsday. Well, here's the other part. I didn't know. First of all, they had to score a touchdown. Field goal did them no good. And I'm hoping that the Eagles can make some play. And they had them in a 3rd down.
Yep.
And that's where they scored the 3rd down pass to Drake London.
Let's not rush to that. We go Kirk Cousins short pass to Drake London. Again, out of bounds to the 7-yard line. 5-yard gain. Quinyon Mitchell makes the stop. Now, again, 48 seconds left. That play took only 5 seconds off the clock. 2nd and 5, 43 seconds remaining. Incomplete throw to Ray McLeod. Good pass break up there by Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
And then came the play. Drake London in the right corner of the end zone. Darius Slay got caught looking into the backfield, admitted it afterward. His eyes, you've got to have discipline there. He lost sight of London. London cuts out to the sideline, makes the catch, touchdown, game tied. And then an unsportsmanlike penalty on London. Moved the ball back 15 yards. It was a 48-yard extra point.
Yeah.
And
that's where I thought there was hope.
Yeah, and then and no problem for the Falcons. They take the lead, Merrill. And still, they have a chance to get into field goal range. And I thought with 2 timeouts left, the Eagles, I just felt Merrill was going to be one of those dramatic. I was on the sidelines at the time, and special teams coordinator Michael Clay came running over to Rick Lovato, the long snapper, and Braden Mann, the holder, and Jake Elliott, and all 3 of them were getting loose. Lovato was snapping to Mann. Jake was kicking the ball into the net, and he came over and he's like, we're going to win this. We're going to win this. We're going to get a chance. We're going to win this. And on 1st down, Jalen goes to Dallas Goedert. A nice gain, a 1st down. Moves it from the 30 to the 43. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. 27 seconds remaining. 1 timeout left. And you figure you get to about the 40-yard line, and Jake's going to have a chance.
Well, that's a 58-yard field goal.
Yeah, a long one, but Jake has done it
Sure.
as we've seen in the past.
Sure.
Instead, Jalen drops back, gets some pressure. So I'm not blaming Jalen on the throw to Devontae Smith, but there was double coverage there. The throw was wide, and Jesse Bates in coverage over the top makes the interception. And Merrill, I know you felt it right away. As you said, we saw each other after the game. What a crushing loss that was.
It was. I mean, we've been through crushing losses before, and we've seen the team bounce back. And that's what they've got to do. This is a very important week because not only are they down at the moment, they have to come back to practice tomorrow and put this completely behind them and beat a Saints team that has been unbelievably impressive in their first 2 games and beat them down there.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints have been unbelievable offensively. They scored on 9 straight possessions to open the game against Carolina, blowing out the Panthers. They scored on their first 6 possessions on Sunday to beat the Dallas Cowboys. Their offensive line has been described to me as one that is just picking up defensive players and moving them around the field. And they are doing what they want offensively. And that does not bode well for an Eagles defense, Merrill, and we'll talk about it here. I think we need to get into it. That has not stopped the run and has not generated any pass rush.
And if you're talking about deep throws, first of all, there's no doubt about it that their quarterback has plenty of arm.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is a very, very strong quarterback. And number 2, they have a receiver. They have Rashid Shaheed, number 22, Rashid Shaheed. I have to say that 5 or 6 times to get it down pat, but it's Rashid Shaheed, and he is as dangerous as any deep threat in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, they have weapons. They've got Chris Olave, who's a second-year player, I believe, out of Ohio State.
Ohio State, great player.
Alvin Kamara is a great dual-purpose
Did you see
threat.
him last week? He ran with tremendous force.
4 touchdowns against the Cowboys, 3 on the ground, 1 in the air. So the Eagles have their hands full, and they have not historically played well in New Orleans. This team, Merrill, you're so close. On a weekend rife with upsets in the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers go down. The Detroit Lions lose.
The Cowboys
get blown out. The Rams get blown out by the Arizona Cardinals. The Eagles are sitting there in position to go 2-0 and to really establish themselves early in September as the team to beat in the NFC. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a game, Merrill, that it's not a must-win. We know that. But it is a really, really important win. The first of 2 NFC South road games that when we looked at the schedule before the season, we thought, okay, this schedule is not that bad. This is going to be a great opportunity for the Eagles to start 3-1, 4-0, get the bye week, come back and get the New York Giants. Instead, 1-1 with a lot of questions about this football team.
You know, the funny thing about it is New Orleans concerns me a lot more than Tampa Bay.
I agree. I think New Orleans, well, the way they've played these first 2 games, they look like the best team in the NFC. I mean, their offense has been literally unstoppable, and their defense has always given teams difficulties. Certainly the Eagles have had challenges against the Saints. The crowd down there is loud and raucous and wild and crazy. It's a dome. They pump in the noise. They make it very difficult. It's a distinct home field advantage for the Saints. So I am extremely concerned and yet relish the challenge. This team needs to have a bounce-back game. Do the Philadelphia Eagles have it in them on Sunday? And they'll go in there, I would imagine, as underdogs to beat the New Orleans Saints. This is a great test for Nick, great test for Vic Fangio, who's got to fix a lot of things in that defense. And again, for Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, to play likely without A.J. Brown. How do the Eagles get pop going in the offense?
You know, I wonder where they're going to use Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is a legitimate first-round draft pick taken by the Commanders. He's a great tracker of the football. He has speed. I watched him play almost every game at Penn State and said, here is a top-notch receiver in the NFL. He translates to the league. And last night, other than a quick swing pass out on the side on the first pass, you never saw him again.
He wasn't targeted. I didn't really notice him running routes down the field. He shared time with Paris Campbell, Britton Covey.
Johnny Wilson.
Johnny Wilson got some reps. I mean, the Eagles didn't have a pass completion of more than, I think, 19 yards. And so I look forward to seeing what, again, on a short week, the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, can do to incorporate Jahan Dotson into the offense. They cannot live on Devontae Smith alone. And we'll talk about it in the next segment. I think it's a good idea to talk about the offense after we come back from the break because there are concerns. Where was Dallas Goedert? They had 10 targets to Devontae Smith. Merrill, let's talk about that offense in just a moment.
We will when we return with more of Pro Football Report coming to you live from Chickies and Pete's at Parks Casino in the Northeast.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. What's better than a Sunday brunch? How about brunch on Saturday and Sunday? Weekends from 10 to 2 at select Chickies and Pete's locations. Try one of our delicious brunch sandwiches like chicken and waffle or our incredible breakfast tacos. How about a crab fry skillet featuring our world famous crab fries topped with egg and cheese? Add peppers and onions, roasted peppers, crab or lobster. Or try our classic avocado toast. Pair your meal with one of our tasty brunch cocktails. Every Saturday and Sunday, 10 till 2 at Chickies and Pete's.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA. Proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO today.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And here we are at Chickies and Pete's in Ben Salem in the Parks Casino. And Dave, we are commiserating over the occurrences of last night with the Eagles just lost to the Atlanta Falcons, a game that they had in their hands, or in Saquon Barkley's hands. But, you know, we talk about the offense. We talk about Dallas Goedert. If you listen to Nick Sirianni, he says this maybe 50 times in the course of the season. Our passing game runs through Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert. The third member of that crew has been playing a very, very minor role in the receiving department.
Merrill, it is. I don't understand what is going on there, and I'm looking at some numbers here from the game book from last night, and Dallas is just not a factor in the offense. Last night, Dallas Goedert was targeted 4 times, 3 catches, 38 yards, and one of those was on the final drive. I think a 13-yard gain, and you wonder what. Is he not being seen? Is he not being open? Is he staying in and blocking? This is a talented player, and I think that the Eagles must, the way the NFL is structured, tight ends have to be part of the passing game.
Well, and here's the thing. Zach Ertz was a great player. We all know that. He made the big catch in the Super Bowl. But Zach Ertz was nowhere near as gifted as Dallas Goedert once he had the ball in his hands. The thing about Goddard is that he was great with the yak, yards after catch.
Yeah, and there's no yak, and there really wasn't a yak last night for anyone. But it is one of the questions the Eagles have to answer about the offense. And Merrill, I want to go back to really the start of the game, if we could, and talk about the very first drive, because I thought the first drive was kind of an indication of what was going to happen for the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia gets the ball, and they're at their 30-yard line. I think that was, or they had a kickoff return, actually.
Okay, so before we do that, let me tell you what I expected up in the broadcast booth. You always anticipate what's going to happen. I figured the Eagles are going to come out and get a rhythm through Saquon Barkley. They'll give it to Saquon Barkley and watch him penetrate the Atlanta defense and get the running game going first.
And didn't every single person in the crowd want the exact same thing?
Yeah.
They were there to see number 26. But after a good Will Shipley kickoff return for 27 yards to the 33-yard line, Jalen Hurts goes back, and there's a little bit of rhythm here. Completion to Grant Calcaterra for 15 yards and a first down. 1st and 10 on the Eagles' 48-yard line. A completion to Bretton Covey. Bretton Covey out of the slot. 7-yard gain, 1st and 10. So you're looking at a 2nd and 3. But, ineligible man downfield.
Yep.
And
Cam
Jurgens, that's the one of 3 penalties that really hurt the Eagles the entire night. So instead of 2nd and 3, it was 1st and 15. And then the drive ended. Jalen runs for 1 yard. Jalen throws to Britton Covey for 4 yards. And then a very unusual call. I don't know if it was a designed run, 3rd and 10, and Jalen on a quarterback draw for 4 yards. So the fans let the Eagles know it. They were not happy at all. There was a smattering, maybe more than a smattering of boos. And, Merrill, it took until the 4th drive for the Eagles to score. You made a point on the broadcast when the Eagles in their second drive went from the 36-yard line to the Atlanta 9-yard line, 4th and 4 from the 9, and they decide to go for the first down rather than take the 3 points.
And a lot of teams do that now. The teams are more aggressive than they ever have been. But I still remember something that Dick Vermeil told me many, many years ago. When you are in the red zone, you've got to come away with points. And particularly early in the game, when there is so much benefit of getting on the board first, take the lead and put Atlanta in a catch-up position from the very beginning. I say if it's 4th and 1, even if it's 4th and a short 2, all right, I can understand going for it because the Eagles are so proficient in short yardage situations. But it's 4th and 4, and you've got to take the 3 points.
And at that point, I kind of sensed the stadium
sag.
Yes, the energy level really sagged. The air went out of the balloon a bit, and Atlanta eventually took a 3-0 lead early in the second quarter. And then we got what we wanted. Saquon Barkley, 4-yard run. Saquon Barkley runs again. Jalen Hurts starts to scramble. You know, they had gotten Barkley into the one drive. It was 9 yards, 4 yards. They finally drive, and they get into scoring position. Covey makes a little gain inside the red zone. And then an absolutely magnificent throw and catch on 2nd and 7, 2nd and goal from the 7. Hurts to Devontae Smith. A little bit behind him. He turns, he makes the catch, gets the feet down. Eagles take the lead. And Merrill, I thought that was going to be the gas on the fire a little bit to get this offense going. Eagles had the lead. I felt that was going to be the launching point, but it didn't happen.
No, it didn't.
Why not?
I don't know. They couldn't continue it. They just absolutely couldn't continue it. It was just one thing after another. They'd come up with a good play, and then they'd misfire, or there'd be a penalty.
Yeah. And then the Eagles are still holding on, and they lead at halftime 7-6. But it was still a lead. And then this is why I always say, and I don't know how you feel about this, when you win the toss, always defer. And we saw it last week when the Packers took the football first after winning the toss. Eagles get the ball late in the first half, score, get the ball first in the second half, score, and the Falcons did the same thing. 2 field goals, they lead 9-7. And Merrill, then the Eagles came back.
By the way, you mentioned, I don't believe you always defer.
Really?
No, they do. They do always defer, just about. But I think there are other things that can really change that. Weather conditions can change that. I think it's also good if you're playing against a weak defense and you feel that you can take the football and go right through them and score in your first possession. If all things are being equal, then I understand deferring.
And the theory is that you get that one extra possession at the end of the first half, the equalizing possession at the end of the first half, and then you start the second half where when you're on the road, fans are still going to the restrooms or getting a drink or getting a bite to eat, so you're not battling against that crowd noise and you can take a lead. Anyway, the offense was a struggle the entire night, Merrill. We went through the end of the game. Saquon Barkley, I thought was brilliant. I love the way he gets down the field. I want to see him run north-south. The east-west stuff, I don't really think there's a need for that.
He's the best back they have had since Shady McCoy.
22 carries, 95 yards. Also in the pass game, 4 catches, 21 yards. So, again, a really big night for Saquon Barkley, who, unfortunately, he will be remembered for the catch that was not.
Yeah.
But, Merrill, the rest of the offense, where is the pop in the pass game without A.J. Brown? How do you replace A.J. Brown, who is out with a hamstring injury? We do not know when he's coming back. That is my injury report. Where are you going to get that? Where are you going to get that downfield?
I will give you my suggestion, and my suggestion is you went out, and I thought Howie did a great job of picking up a Jahan Dotson. I think you implement him into that offense and send him deep. I want to see him beat some DBs, and he can. I've seen him do it. But you've got to, after 2 weeks, you should be able to do that with somebody with his speed.
I mean, I think he knows the offense by now. He's going to take all the reps in practice this week. I would think that. Now, who's your third receiver? Are you going to bring Paris Campbell back up? You want Britton Covey to be out of the slot? You want to use a tight end?
You know what? I think they could use that Kellen Moore should be able to use Britton Covey the way he used to use Cole Beasley in Dallas.
I just don't know if Britton Covey can break tackles like Cole Beasley. I mean, Britton Covey kind of got thrown around there last night.
Yeah, but I think he's faster than Cole Beasley. I think if you put Britton Covey in the open field, he's going to make people miss. Not with power so much, but with elusiveness.
If you're going with your best players, would it make sense to displace Kenny Gainwell into the slot or Saquon Barkley into the slot and use 2 running backs in formations? Would it make sense to use a tight end coming into that slot position?
Well, he did flank Saquon Barkley wide on numerous occasions. See, I do like the beginnings of this new offense. I think
in the run game and Jalen is throwing the football, then that is going to be a penalty.
Yeah,
Agreed?
I agree.
Another concern, the blocking on the edges, particularly by Grant Calcaterra, who I think is a good, young, developing, pass-catching tight end.
He's more of a pass-catching tight end than he is a blocking
He has had trouble blocking at the point of attack.
But now they've reacquired Jack Stoll, right?
He got released off the practice squad last week. So it's E.J.
But
Jenkins.
they can sign him back.
They can sign him back. E.J. Jenkins is their third tight end on the
I don't know about
roster
his
right
blocking. I know
he's
that
a big guy.
He's a pretty good receiver.
Yeah, and
he
I think
looks
he's
very good in the preseason.
Yeah. And then I think that the other concern is the right side where Becton and Lane Johnson got beat a couple of times. The Falcons ran some games, and that really hurt the Eagles at times. Thoughts on that?
Well, I think you're in the kind of situation where you cannot make mistakes.
Yeah.
You cannot set yourself back with 5 yards here and 5 yards there. And when they do run the games, you've got to be able to communicate with each other and stand them off.
And then finally, Merrill, the red zone these first 2 games, the Eagles have just not been really good in the red zone. They were so good with Nick Sirianni at the helm, Jalen Hurts running the offense. The first 2 years, 21 and 22, they were fantastic in the red zone. They were terrific in the first part of last year in the red zone, and since then they have struggled. And my theory is that teams are keying on Jalen Hurts, not allowing him to run, and that takes a huge element of potency away from the Eagles' offense.
Well, with all of that being said, I'm still not worried about this offense. I think it's going to continue to grow. I think it's going to continue to expand in what they do and what they're capable of. I think in a couple of weeks you're still going to get A.J. Brown back. But I am, at this point, extremely concerned about what we've seen from the defense. And we will talk about that when we return with more of Pro Football Report, brought to you by BCWSA, and we're at Chickies and Pete's in Bensalem.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. only at Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit PennCommunityBank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at Ventresca.com. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And we are back at Parks Casino at the Chickies and Pete's and in Ben Salem. And this show brought to you by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and seen live at WBCBsports.com. Dave, it is time now for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Bailey, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689, 215-806-3689. Dave, one of the things that is good about last night, it's nice to find something positive to say, is there appeared to be a minimum of Eagles injuries.
Yeah, I think Milton Williams went out a little bit late in the game. I have not heard an update on him. I hope it's not serious. Milton Williams has played really well as far as the Eagles' defensive tackles have gone. But the big story with the Eagles and the injuries, and everybody's concerned about it, and rightfully so, is the status of A.J. Brown, who, when we had the show last week, we felt that A.J. would be healthy and ready to go. And his hamstring tightened up in practice on Thursday, I believe. And then the next day, I think it was on Friday, actually. And then on Saturday, he left the building, got additional testing, was ruled out on Sunday. And now there are reports that he will miss multiple weeks. The Eagles, of course, are not commenting on the timeline. But if you are missing A.J. Brown for the next two games against two teams that are 2-0 and that have shown that you need to score points to beat them, that is a huge concern. The other positive was that Isaiah Rodgers, who had missed the first game with a hand injury, came back and played in last night's game, albeit very little for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, and the other one, Devin White, who had been out with an ankle injury, was a healthy scratch. What is that all about?
Clearly, he is not in the favor of defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. And this is a player who, at one point in his career, not that long ago for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was one of the best linebackers in the game.
Yeah.
Had foot injuries last year. The Eagles, I think, counted on him pretty substantially. They paid a reported $5 million for his contract this year in free agency. And early in training camp, Merrill, we saw Devin White holding that starting job in the Eagles' defense.
Yeah.
And it didn't last long as Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond claimed those positions. They've played well. And Devin White is, to me, at a career crossroads. I mean, when you're being a healthy scratch in week 2, that is a very telling position in the mind of defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who does not play favorites.
No, and he was asked, when Devin White is healthy, does he move back into the starting lineup? And he said, no. He said Nakobe Dean won the job. As clear as that. And I think Nakobe Dean is playing well. And I think if he stays healthy, and that's an if because he's had his injury problems in the past, I think he's a very good football player.
I agree. He's quick to the football. He's a physical guy, good tackler, small, and that's been the problem with him, and he's had the foot injuries. So
well, he's not going to grow.
No, he's not going to grow, but I worry about somebody who plays with that much run-through-the-wall mentality. I worry about somebody that size. But hopefully I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Nakobe is a wonderful young man. He's always prepared. He loves the game of football. He plays hard. He is somebody you want to have success. You root for a guy like Nakobe Dean.
Do you think, now we've seen him a couple of weeks, do you think Zach Bond could develop into a Pro Bowl caliber football player?
No, I don't. I don't think that he's that dominating kind of player. I don't think he'll ever get the numbers as a blitzer, so he's not really a pass rusher. So what he's doing is making a lot of tackles down the field.
He was against the Packers.
He had a couple of – I don't see – unless Vic – I mean, last night, Merrill, let's talk about the defense and how they used Zach Bond. Zach had 9 tackles. He played 98% of the snaps. He was around the football, but they didn't bring a lot of pressure. And that clearly indicates that Vic Fangio expected the 4-man, at times 5-man pass rush to get home. And other than Milton Williams recording that sack, the Eagles just didn't get up in the grill of Kirk Cousins.
I thought Jordan Davis early in the game made a couple of big plays. Once you could see the pressure inside, and another time he knocked down a pass.
Yeah, but Merrill, I think we're at the point with Jordan Davis, right, where we want to see him take that next step and be a controlling defensive tackle in his third year. This is something that Jordan has talked about. Fletcher Cox retires. It's a young defensive tackle room. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Milton Williams, this is their time to step up. And Merrill, they just have not done so. And the Eagles, I believe, are 32nd in the league in run defense. And the Falcons ran all over them last night with a tremendously gifted second-year player, Bijan Robinson. I haven't seen much from the defensive tackles. I have not seen enough from Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Milton Williams. They need to be productive for this Eagles defense to work. It is all about the defensive line. And when you look at Vic Fangio and the success that he has had in his career, it's because the defensive lines have been outstanding. And thus far, the Eagles defensive line has not.
You know, the interesting thing is if you talk to Vic about his pass rushers, he'll tell you that the best guy right now still is Brandon Graham. And he said Brandon Graham is not just here on a ceremonial tour, because Brandon has announced that this will be his last year. He said he's here to play football, and he's going to play a lot of football. And Brandon came up with a sack that was nullified by a penalty.
Merrill, I think is it telling, look, the defensive tackle rotation and defensive line rotation, Jalen Carter, 46 snaps. That is 75% of the defensive snaps. Josh Sweat, 40 snaps. Bryce Huff, 32 snaps. Very little production from Bryce Huff. In fact, no production from Bryce Huff. Jordan Davis, only 29 snaps.
Wow.
Brandon Graham, 28 snaps. Milton Williams, 25 snaps. Nolan Smith, 23. Moro Ojomo, 17. Thomas Booker, 9 snaps and 3 tackles.
Yeah.
We all expected that defensive line to win at the line of scrimmage, and they're not winning, Maryland. You can't play defense very well at all in this league if you don't win. And I'm telling you, on Sunday against the Saints, this is a different kind of offensive line. I was speaking to some scouts before the game last night, and they were telling me how when they watched the tape of the Saints and the Cowboys, the Saints offensive linemen were displacing the Dallas Cowboys defensive players. Not just they were blowing them out of position.
Dave, I've never seen Micah Parsons as less of a factor in any game, college or pro. He was invisible, and at one time they took him out for 2 series.
So that is a really difficult backdrop as we prepare for the New Orleans Saints on Sunday. If you are Vic Fangio, what do?
I look at the film. I look at the tape, and I say, here's what they did against Micah Parsons, and this is what this team was capable of doing. I pay a lot of attention to the Dallas-New Orleans tape.
I understand that. Can you fix this with a scheme tweak? But at some point, don't you need Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, etc.?
Well, you would think that
are they capable of being better?
See, you would think when you invest number 1 draft picks on the 2 Georgia guys back-to-back, Davis and then Carter, that they have got to be the key pins. They've got to be the biggest factors in your front 4 at least.
I agree. What have you seen that makes you think that they can be?
I think that from time to time, I have seen Carter as a disruptive force.
Agreed.
From time to time, not consistently enough, but you know what he is capable of.
I think Jalen Carter is getting double teamed. I mean, offenses are not going to let Jalen Carter come in and ruin what they're doing. So it seems to me when I watch that they're doubling Jalen and they're taking their chances with Jordan, with Josh Sweat, with Brandon Graham, with Milton Williams, with Nolan Smith, and with Bryce Huff, who at times when I saw this game last night, he was being handled one-on-one by a tight end, and that just cannot happen.
Dave,
So
I don't like to go back into ancient history because some of our fans, it's too far back for them to really remember. But one of the greatest defensive coordinators I've ever met was a guy by the name of Bud Carson.
Yep.
And he was an Eagles defensive coordinator in 1991 when the Eagles were first against the run, first against the pass, and first overall. Great defensive coordinator. And I came in one day and I talked to Bud Carson about Reggie White and what a great player Reggie White was. And he said to me, let me tell you something. Reggie White is as good a defensive end as you'll ever find, ever. But a lot of his success comes from what Jerome Brown is doing inside. He was a disruptive force. When they drafted Jordan Davis, there were people who compared him to Jerome Brown because he was massive, but he wasn't just a space saver. He was a guy who could pummel you, who could disrupt an offense, and you're not getting that inside so that Jalen Carter can do what he's capable of doing.
And I agree. I think the ideal is that the Eagles win from the inside and then it goes to the outside. That is the design of the defensive line. The reality is that's kind of the way it's going to have to be moving forward. And I think the only thing we can do is look forward with this defense, and Vic has a lot to fix going against, again, an offense in New Orleans that to date through 2 games has been unstoppable.
Back with Dave Spadaro, back with Pro Football Report, presented to you by BCWSA right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. What's better than a Sunday brunch? How about brunch on Saturday and Sunday? Weekends from 10 to 2 at select Chickies and Pete's locations. Try one of our delicious brunch sandwiches like chicken and waffle or our incredible breakfast tacos. How about a crab fry skillet featuring our world-famous crab fries topped with egg and cheese? Add peppers and onions, roasted peppers, crab or lobster. Or try our classic avocado toast. Pair your meal with one of our tasty brunch cocktails. Every Saturday and Sunday, 10 till 2 at Chickies and Pete's.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA. Proven.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com. Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Eagles insider Dave Spadaro and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
And back we are, the show tonight presented by BCWSA, right here on 1490 WBCB. We're at Chickies and Pete's in Ben Salem in the Parks Casino. Dave, it is time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys to the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. Keys to the game. All right, I'm going to give you the first one.
Okay.
Put pressure on Derek Carr. He's better than Kirk Cousins, and he has been very, very dangerous. And if you give him time, he's got some marvelous receivers, Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. So you've got to pressure him.
All right, I will give you my first key to the game is the Eagles must take the football away. The Eagles, and this goes hand in hand with putting pressure on Derek Carr, one takeaway in 2 games is not going to get it done.
No.
Being in the negative in the turnover category in each of the first 2 games is fool's gold. The Eagles were fortunate to win in Week 1 at -2 in the turnover ratio. There are several key statistics in the NFL.
They're -3 now, right?
They are -3 in giveaways now. But you have to win the turnover battle.
Yes.
So ball security, incredibly important, and create something defensively and give the offense a chance. The Philadelphia Eagles have been driving down the field, 16 plays, 17 plays, 50. They need to get the one time that they've had a great field position situation after Reed Blankenship's interception against Jordan Love. They punched it into the end zone in Brazil and really turned that game around. So that is my first key to game.
I'll give you another one.
Okay.
They have got to really be proficient with their silent count this week because they are in that dome. I used to call it the not-so-super-dome. It now has a commercial name. But they're in that dome, and their Saints are now the darlings of their eyes because they're coming back victorious from Dallas. They are going to be crazy, the who dat people in New Orleans. So you better be ready to get that silent count going and explode in unison.
I'm going to stay on the defensive side again, Merrill, and talk about one of the most dynamic players in the league who I think maybe has been overlooked the last couple of years because of injuries, etc. And we mentioned him briefly early, but Alvin Kamara is a great football player. And, you know, as great as Saquon is and the things that he can do both in the run game and the pass game, I think that Alvin Kamara is right there with him. Powerful, fast, elusive.
Number 41.
He will challenge the Eagles in the space in space with the and I don't know how you stop him because they have so many weapons. And I look for Vic to be aggressive defensively, but it comes back to this, Merrill. The Eagles have to win one-on-one matchups up front, and they just haven't done that.
You know, Derek Carr is a good quarterback. He's not Drew Brees, but he is a very good quarterback.
Yeah, of course. He's a very high pedigree quarterback who's in a really good situation now. They have built their offensive line, and the Eagles have a huge, huge challenge on Sunday.
Not an easy game by any stretch of the imagination, and made more difficult by the fact that they are coming off a devastating loss. And as you said before, they are without maybe their most dangerous weapon. It's 1 and 1A between Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, the thing about missing A.J. is you miss that deep threat, the catch-and-run player, the red zone threat because he's so physical.
Do you remember what Jahan Dotson did against the Eagles last year with the Commanders?
Yeah.
He had 7 receptions and a touchdown.
Yeah. I look to see how Kellen Moore gets him ready to go for this week's game.
Okay, let's take a look, Dave.
Are we going to look at last week's results?
Well, we
Merrill?
will. We were both terrible.
I don't think I was terrible.
Oh, you were terrible. you were terrible.
Was I?
We were both 3 and 5.
We both took Dallas.
Took Dallas over New Orleans. We all were right about. Well, no, yeah, you and I were right about Washington. We all took San Francisco over Minnesota.
It was terrible. Huh?
Okay, we were right about the. No, I picked the
Jacksonville
Jets.
lost.
You took Tennessee.
Oh gosh,
I beat you there.
Okay,
but then I took Indianapolis over Green Bay, and you picked the Packers.
Okay.
We were both wrong, taking Jacksonville over Cleveland. We all took Kansas City over Cincinnati, and we were both wrong, taking in Detroit over Tampa Bay. So we were a gaudy 3 and 5 each. All right, let's take a look.
On to week 3.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, Thursday night, good game. New England at the Jets.
I will take the Jets.
Me too. All right, game 2. This is Sunday, of course. The Giants at Cleveland.
I will take Cleveland.
I think I will take everybody this season
Again,
over the Giants.
Giants, right.
All right. Here's a great game. Baltimore at Dallas.
I will take Baltimore. I cannot imagine Baltimore going 0-3.
Can you see Dallas going 1-2?
Yes.
Okay.
In my every day, I see them going 1-2, then 1-3, then 1-4. I never see the Dallas Cowboys winning.
That being said, I'm taking Baltimore too.
Okay.
All right. Detroit at surprising Arizona. Did you see the game?
I saw the results.
That Murray had?
Yeah. I'm going to take Detroit in a bounce-back game there.
So am I. Chicago at Indianapolis. You know, Caleb Williams is pretty good. He really is. He wasn't my favorite quarterback coming back out. Mine was Penix. But I still think he looks sharp, and he's going to get better.
It's interesting because I think Anthony Richardson has bust written all over him.
No.
I don't like Anthony Richardson, but I'm going to go with the Shane Steichens there. I'll take Indianapolis.
Shane Steichen.
You think Anthony Richardson has shown anything?
Not so much me, but I have spoken with Shane Steichen, and he thinks this kid is just going to be wonderful. He said he has everything you want in talent, great arm, running ability, and the desire to be great.
How's the intellect?
He said he's great.
Okay.
He said he's terrific. He said he's bright and dedicated.
All right.
He said he would remind you of Jalen in a lot of ways.
I'm taking him for this week.
Okay. I am too. All right. I guess we're both taking Houston over Minnesota.
Where's that game?
In Minnesota.
I'm going to go Minnesota.
Good. I'm glad you are, because I'm taking Houston.
Okay.
And we will win. The Houston Texans will win that game.
All right.
Our Minnesota's a kind of a
flighty team.
They're 2-0 by accident.
Yep.
All right. Jacksonville at Buffalo.
I will go with Buffalo. I think Doug Peterson is in a lot of trouble.
I am going with Jacksonville strictly because I love Doug Peterson.
I love
He's
Doug
a great
too,
guy,
but I want to beat you.
I just have to go.
I'm here to beat you.
Here is another one. Washington at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 0-2.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati gets on the winning track against the Commanders.
So do I. So that.
Are you sure you don't want to go with Washington?
No, I'm not going with Washington. Although I do like Jaden Daniels.
Yes, I do too.
I think he's good. Yeah. Someday you will see that the best of all those quarterbacks is going to be Michael Penix Jr. And he has the opportunity right now to sit behind Kirk Cousins. All right, we're out of time. You and I could talk forever.
Yes, we can.
It's been great having each other as a guest.
Yeah, and I think as a therapist tonight, Merrill, I needed it after that tough loss last night.
And we will be back next week at Chickies and Pete's in Audubon. Thank you so much for joining us. Our engineer is Chris Ermer, and the executive producer is George Forster. George Forster, PGA. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Go Birds.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL.